1,200 stores, 225,000 associates, countless customers. It's the place we all know, Publix. And a big anniversary this year, and something I've been trying to do for a very long time. Talk to the man in charge, CEO Todd Jones. We start our two-part series today with a look at how Publix has tackled these challenging times.
Keeping the customer and the associates top of mind. We like to say it's the A's and the C's before the P's. So that's the associate and the customers before the process.
We sat down with Publix CEO Todd Jones in an empty area of a store, socially distanced, to talk about how Publix has handled the coronavirus pandemic.
You step back from it and you start thinking about the customers, the communities, the associates that have been involved with this, and really trying to understand what we needed to do to make sure their comfort level was where it needed to be. And I think it's worked out really well.
You walk with Todd Jones through this store and you realize sitting down and talking is not his favorite thing to do. He would much rather be out here on the floor talking to associates and customers. And you understand why helping people through this pandemic is so important to him. The Publix Farmers and Families Initiative has helped both producer and consumer, buying food from farmers that they would have had to destroy, and then giving it to Feeding America food banks to help those in need right now.
Being able to purchase that product, get it to the food banks, and then get it to the consumers in need. And, you know, as of this week, 12 million pounds of produce and 550,000 gallons of milk.
Todd's story is unique. He's been with Publix 40 years, came up through the ranks, and he still visits the stores, still bags groceries, because that's how he started. They call them front service associates now, not in 1980.
You get this big badge, it was about this big around, and it said bagger in training.
Did you really have that?
Bagger in training, and nobody wanted you to bag their order.
Publix is celebrating an anniversary in 2020, 90 years in the business, started by George Jenkins, Mr. George, a legendary leader. Todd knew him and has great stories, like that time Mr. George walked into a meeting of young managers.
Probably after about 45 minutes to an hour, he said, "I have to ask something out of you folks." We all said, "Yes, sir, Mr. George, what can we do?" He said, "I want you to write a phone number down for me." So got our pencil and paper out, we wrote a number down. He goes, "That's my office number. If there's ever a time that you don't have time for one of your associates or customers, I'd appreciate it if you give them my number so I could take care of them for you." That's a story. That's a story that will help understand the vision that George Jenkins had about what he wanted Publix to be.
You know, in almost every answer that Todd gave, he refers to George Jenkins. And that's an indication to me of the culture and the tradition of Publix. It all goes back to Mr. George. Todd, by the way, is the first non-Jenkins to have the title of a CEO at Publix.